Hey everyone on YouTube, it's Giles here. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. I haven't made a video in ages, and there's not really an awful lot of definition for things I wanted to talk about specifically in this video. That was a really weird sentence, wasn't it? I haven't made a video in like a month. Leave me alone. Yeah, there's no specific reason as to why I haven't made a video in a while. I think a lot of it is to do with the weather. If I'm honest with you, I have not been coping. Well, I say I haven't been coping well under this weather. I've just not been operating normally in this weather. You know, like I mean, you know, doing my graphic work as usual, and there was like a project I was working on for like the last 2 weeks or something. It was like having a baby. Like I was like nearly dead by the end of it. Like usually, you know, I finish a project and I go straight onto the next one. And in this case, it was proper like I just finished it and I was like, all right, I have to not exist for 2 days straight. You know, like I have to be nothing for a little while and regather myself. And you know, it was really nothing unusual. You know, like the project wasn't complex or taxing or anything like that. It was just sort of like, I don't know, like just on account of the heat. And it's a really weird heat we're dealing with, where it's like, I mean, especially in my flat, it's just pure humidity. Like the basement flat is relatively cool, but it's like once the humidity gets in, and it takes a long time, like when you get the summer coming around, and it takes a long time for the humidity to properly set into this basement flat. But once it gets a hold of you, it never lets go, you know. Oh dear. One thing that's been on my mind a lot, like I keep getting, I don't know what it is. I think a lot of people a lot of people really think about my age. They think about my age more than I do, and the fact that I'm single, and they make assumptions of me, or they make assumptions of things they can do for me given my position, or as they perceive it, my disposition. And it's something that, like, you know, I think the whole reason it's inspired me to make a video is because it's occurred one too many times. You know, like the first time it happens, you're like, the second time, like there's a lot of people that want to set me up with people. There's like people that want to. There's a lot of people want to get me dating, which dating, I doubt on what earth is dating ever a good idea. You know, like anything that goes right in dating has nothing to do with the concept of dating itself. Anything that goes right in a date could have easily gone right in a meeting of any other interaction. You know, like the actual the actual sort of common denominator of what goes right in dating has nothing to do with the concept of dating whatsoever. You know, it's like odd comparison. It's like how AA has like I think it's like a 40% success rate, but then the success rate for people giving up alcohol without the AA is 40%. Like the percentage matches exactly. You know, like the process of AA has, I mean, I dare say has something to do in the sense of you know, a message to oneself to give up, but the actual effectiveness of it is similar to a bloke just sitting there going, I don't really fancy drinking anymore, you know. But yeah, that's like the how I feel about the success rate of dating. But like, I don't know. It's weird because like a lot of people would make I think that I don't know if I give off like lonely vibes, lonely old Giles vibes, but there's a lot of people that like keep saying to me, "Oh, I've got this friend," and I'm like, I don't want to meet your friend. Tell your friend to fuck off. I think like as well. I mean, it might be me like overthinking it. But I would, you know, I prefer to overthink it than to underthink it. You know, like the worst things imaginable happen in relationships if you underthink it. You know, you end up walking into something you don't know what the hell you've walked into. Before you know it, you're someone you're not. You know, and that can get very serious. And we can make perfectly innocent people into monsters that way. But you know, I just sort of I feel like when it comes to you know I think in life you need to learn to look after yourself before you can look after somebody else, and I think that's you know, the definition of a good partnership is looking after each other. And if you can't look after yourself, then you are expecting your partner to be able to look after you for you. And in that instance, you then need them as opposed to wanting them. You know, and like, I feel like the wanting someone grossly outranks needing someone, you know, and I realize in some instances you need someone through different means. I think you could argue that a longer a relationship of wanting goes, it can naturally cross over into needing on account of customization, you know, on account of becoming accustomed to one another. That's when it's like a healthy version of needing, because you've built that need as opposed to it being a given from the very beginning of the relationship. Like I guess that's like you can't build a relationship on needing, but you can build needing within a relationship. That's probably the best way to put it. But you know, I think like every day I'm still sort of finding ways to live better. I'm finding better ways to earn. I'm bringing in a bit more money every time, and I think earning is a big factor. A lot of people don't sort of think that, but I mean, most of the reasons any couple ever breaks up is down to money. And if it's not money, a lot of it is psychology caused by not having money. And it's not about, you know, people make this mistake that like women want like the richest men and stuff like that. The whole thing from either gender is really you just want security. And security does require money. It just doesn't require Dr. Evil money, as one assumes. You know, it just means, you know, less bullshit, like less worrying about bills, less hassle, less, you know, less bother and all that sort of stuff. That's what destroys a relationship, because that makes people behave. Again, it makes people behave not as themselves. It makes people behave not. I'll just mute that. It makes people sort of become these alternate versions of themselves that unhindered would not exist, you know? Oh dear. Do you know what I hate about fruity tea? It never quite does it, does it? You go, oh, that's nice. Well, that's 10% nice. It would be nice if that was 50%, if there was flavour in it. You can see why people stuff sugar and stuff, don't you? But yeah, like there's an overwhelming amount of people that want me to meet their friends and all this sort of stuff, and I don't, you know, oh dearie me, and I think they think they're doing me a favour, but it just makes me more uncomfortable. But as well, when you're talking about the dating scene involves a lot of you know, I think when you go on the dating scene, you're spending time with people who are on the dating scene. It's like when people go down to like a nightclub and they hook up with someone and then that person cheats on you, and it's like, what do you expect? You literally acquire them from the shaggery, like from the place where people go to have sex. What do you expect was going to happen? I don't, you know, because let's face it, if you go to a place like that, there's you're either going there to get laid or to show off who you're getting laid with. And if who you're getting laid with is not with you, you're there to get laid. You know, it's just I don't. And people like, they will just keep doing it. They keep doing it, and they're shocked every time. And I don't sort of. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, if you're on the dating scene, then you equals nightclub. Although I do think nightclubs should really start enforcing ages. Like if you're over 30, go home. Just stop it. It's silly. You know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's some. You need something to just let you know that it's getting a bit funny now. You know. It's like, I remember when I was younger, we were like early 20s, and there was like this person in their 40s that just started hanging out with us at one point while we were out drinking and stuff, and they were just telling us like how fucking awful their life would, like, they were basically telling us all the things that they used to be that they are no longer. They're telling them, like, they're telling their blues to a bunch of kids in their early 20s, like, and all we were thinking is, you old weirdo, like, Father Time has come for you. And even back then we understood that your early 40s isn't old, but this person really made it feel like they were at the end of the tracks, you know, like there was nothing left in them, like, just, you know, like, they hit 40 and their teeth fell out immediately, and all their hair and liver spots just caked them, you know, and it's just sort of like, I mean, you really are as old as you feel. That's a prime example of someone who was like 40, but just through pure psychology quadrupled their age. You know, much like you see, like, you know, there's a lot of like 20-year-olds that just like. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. 20-year-olds, like the kids of today. They have like the sensibilities of like our grannies, you know. It's really weird. Like, they act like my grandmother's grandmother shared very similar values of like teenagers and people in their early 20s today, and that freaks me out. I'm literally like, we've got like young grannies. It's so weird. But it, you know, it makes me wonder what their children or grandchildren are going to be like, you know. But it's just so weird. Like rebellion is like complete conformity right now, and that's, I mean, don't get me wrong, the companies are very happy about that, you know, like Hollywood and all the rest of it. They're just like, they can poo and sell it, and people will buy it, no questions asked. It's all yesterday's money being turned. God, they must be so excited right now. But yeah, how the fuck did I get onto this? I forget why I got onto this. It must be the tea. I forget what this tea is. No, that's just the make of the tea. Sour cherry. Sour cherry. This is I have like a Taylor's Taylor's of Harrogate, an assortment of different teas. When you've got like sour cherry, I'm like, how? What makes it more sour than another one? You know, it's like there's another flavour, sweet rhubarb, and I'm like, well, that's just an outright lie. Like, whoever ate rhubarb and go, that's sweet. So what have you done to it? You know, it's like there was another one, rose and lime, I think, and I was like, rose, is rose a flavour? I've never eaten roses before. You know, you just be like, when you're putting tea together, you can just call it what the hell you want. Just call it things that nobody normally tastes, and no one can question it. You know, it's like, oh, this is apple and garden rock flavour. You know, nobody eats rocks in the garden. You then go, oh, is this what garden rocks taste like? I'm assuming you wouldn't lie to me. You know. Oh, dear. Mind you, like going back to the whole dating, well, sort of dating thing. I was more gravitating more back to the nightlife subject. The there was something like I've been watching Bar Rescue a lot recently because Bar Rescue is awesome. Although actually I've also been watching Clarkson's Farm. That's really good. Watch it. Do. But Bar Rescue, they have a lot of, what do you call them? Mixologists, they call them. The people that mix drinks. Mixologists. Yes, you keep polishing that, Bishop. They terrify me. I'm not gonna lie. Like people, like bartenders that like make drinks in front of you, that like smile as they're directly into your face as they're shaking the drinks and stuff. They terrify the shit out of me. Like if you give me a big beaming smile while you're shaking your drink, I will throw it in your face. And then burn you like a witch. I don't understand why anybody thinks that is a pleasurable experience. Like they talk about it like, this is your stage. Just make the fucking drink. Just make the drink. Just be like, you know, I mean, like where I go to the open mic, I get my gin and tonic. Perfectly normal, rational, not smackable human beings make that drink for me. There you go. Well, there's the gin in it, and there you go. And admittedly, I think a lot of this comes back to the Aspie thing. I'm fucking awkward when I'm ordering drinks. I am like an alien that's just been beamed down to Earth, and I'm just like, and I'm trying to sound casual. I am trying my best to. I put on my very best human suit, and I'm just sort of well, hi. Yes. How are you? Oh God, if they ask me how I am, that like, oh, whoa, speed bump, you know, like what do I do now? I'm all right. You, how are you? And then the first thing I'm thinking is like, how long can we do this talk? Like, and that's not disrespectful to them. It's actually in respect to them because I know they've got a job to do. So when they ask me how I am, I understand that it's a formality, but it's also very rude to just ignore that. I'm well, you? And they're like, oh, no, I'm well. And then what if they say they're well and then they start talking about something else? I go, how long am I to entertain this part of this interaction? Because I don't want to drag it out in case they've got to go away somewhere, you know? But, yes, and the thing is, I get that thing where like I rehearse before I get to a counter. I don't know if anybody else does this. Oh my God, I'm like, but back when I was drinking beer, life was simpler. Well, actually, I say that the Cactus Hound has nothing but weird beers, and weird beers throws me through another loop. You know, because then you have to talk about them because you don't know what beer to have, and you go, well, it's all fucking beer. Just give me a beer. And they're like, no, but this one has more hops. This one is, it's a bit of a dry beer, this one. I'm like, but they're all wet. Like, how can that one be dry? You know? And it's like, no, but this one is a tangy brown, and this one is more of an amber tint to it. And it's like, just fuck it, this like, I'm convinced, like those who are passionate about beer, they're all liars. All liars. All beer tastes the same. It's beer. Drink it. You know? I just, you know, and then this one is not a beer. This one is actually an ale. And I do understand the difference between a beer and an ale. Slightly. But I still don't really care. You know, it's like someone could try and explain it, and I'm just, that's all I hear. That's all I hear. But then I sort of I started going for gin and tonics. I was feeling brave. I was actually like, okay, let's go level 2. You know, like beer is actually, to be honest, I was going to different pubs and they all had different beers, and so it just got awkward every fucking time because I had to like go, oh no, none of the beers like if I go to one place and I say Guinness is there. I don't know. I really don't have a... Actually, I tell you what, Budweiser is probably my preference for a beer. But apparently it's not really there much. I don't know why. But I'll basically look at a beer, and if I can pronounce it, it'll be the one I order. Because I can just then I go up to the counter, like, point the Guinness, please. Job done. Simple. But if I'm like, all I can see is like foreign words I've never seen, like haba shlabadu or shliman skiman dumbang gang dabang dang dang, and I'm just like, well, your beer is too weird for me. Therefore, if I can't say it, I can't buy it. That's how this works. I mean, sometimes I squeeze out some kind of conversation about the amusement of not being able to pronounce the words, and it all depends on if the bartender is game for my shenanigans. If they are, we're gonna have a lovely interaction. If they're not, I don't know. I always make them. I always feel like I've ruined their day. Like I'll be like, I don't really. Oh god, these are difficult to pronounce, aren't they? And they're like, yeah, no, they are, yeah. And I was like, well, you shouldn't be working in such a stupid place, should you? If that annoys you. But then, like I said, increasing my bravery an increment, I was like, gin and tonic. And so I do the thing where I rehearse it in my head. I'm like, how complicated is this really going to be? Gin and tonic. Oh, there, what do you want for drink? Gin and tonic, please. And I was like, I think we'll pull that one off, gin and tonic. Gin and tonic. And it's a very common drink. I mean, if you go into a bar or a pub or a club or whatever, and you go, can I have a gin and tonic? If they go, that's a bit weird, then you know they're a bit weird. So that's all good. Like, as long as I know you're the weirdo, I'm safe, you know? But, so I was like, gin and tonic. And then I was like, go up to the counter, I'll have a gin and tonic, please. And they're like, would you like a single or a double? I'm like, oh no, I haven't prepared for this. It's a perfectly normal question. But I think, you know, the talk of autism and ADHD is the speed of the thoughts that make sudden unknowns that come out seemingly out of nowhere. It makes them very difficult to digest sensibly. It's almost like you think too fast to process the question properly. And so it's a perfectly normal question. Did you like a single or double? Basically, a big or not as big one. And I'm sort of a double. And so I'm just about to get through that one. But then they score the killing blow. They go, would you like the house gin? And I'm just like, you have this curveball is curvier than Jessica Rabbit. What is this? Why have you done this to me? I can't do this. I'm going home. I'm never drinking again. I will shave my hair off and everyone will assume I'm an accountant from now on and not a music fan or heavy metal head. You've done this to me, and you should feel ashamed. I just like, and it's I hope you're keeping up with me as I talk about this, because otherwise you're just sitting there going, what? They just said, do you want the house gin? And you crumpled like a house of cards. Are you insane? Mildly. But hopefully I've trailed enough breadcrumbs up throughout this video leading up to this moment that you already have a perception of how I am socially. And that's regardless of how I'm talking here right now. Bear in mind, it's easy here right now because it's just me and, well, it's no one. It's just me. I can sit there and go, it's me and you, but you're not even here. It's me completely alone in my... God, it's like I've broken the fourth wall and Now I'm suddenly quite conscious of the fact that I'm completely alone with just the camera looking at me. Oh well. But yes. And their house gin had like a really weird name. I can't remember it. It was like Meat Hook or something. It didn't sound like gin. It really didn't sound like gin. But you know, I you know, I get through that alive and enjoy my drink, which it is my preference. It is my drink. Like the only reason I've gone for beer before is because beer is easy. Sometimes you walk into a bar and the person behind the counter looks like a grizzly, knobbly chair leg that's 200 years old and does not like hair. And you just think to yourself, I'm going to make it easy for him. I don't want to ask for any drink that might incur his absolute skullduggerous wrath. I, sir, would like, sir, a Heineken. Don't have Heineken. All right, Guinness. You know, but after I've got the the rhythm down. You see, I record it all in this thing I call a brain, you know, and so I'm like, right, double is the bigger one, and house gin is, it's not the best one, but it is the one that ends the fucking conversation. Yes, yes. In and out. That's what it's all about. You do the hokey cokey and you turn around. Oh dear. But yeah, so then when I'm in a place, I'm in a bar, go to the counter, and I'm like, what the hell is it? Yes, gin and tonic. No, large gin and tonic with house gin. But usually it's a little bit more rehearsed now. Rolls off the tongue, it does. Rolls off the tongue. Minimum conversation. I don't bother them, they don't bother me. The interaction is just fine. But yeah. This is the sort of stuff I have to contend with in my life. And this has only been honed recently, and I'm 37 years old. So when it comes to the subject of me sharing my life with somebody else, there's a lot of slack that needs to be considered. And the fact that I really enjoy my alone time because, Lord help me, as anything in this video has helped described, human beings are exhausting for me to be around. Good Lord. This is one isolated interaction. And you know, I do like the humans. I do like being around them. But I do have to get home occasionally and just let the steam escape from my feet, my head, and anywhere else that may have felt the sheer weight of peopling. It's a complicated life. Ah, dear. Dear, dearie me. But I'm going to leave this video here because I think I went off subject several times. But I had fun. I hope you did too. Anyway, leave your questions and comments. Questions? Why would you have questions? Comments. We might have questions. Why are you like this, child? You freak. but you yourself might be just like it, and we can all be odd together. We can start a new cult and a new world order. A man can dream. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. See you later.